Our first question, 1 plus 1. Yes.
2.
Incorrect. Yes.
Multiculturalism.
Well done, Simon. Next question, what is 3 times 3? Yes?
9.
Wrong. Yes, Penelope.
Gender equality.
Very good, Penelope.
Is this a joke?
You think gender equality is a joke?
No, but isn't this a maths class?
Don't be so racist.
I just asked a question.
We don't ask questions. Questions are offensive.
Yeah! Let me see this. They've just written equality and drawn love hearts on a piece of paper.
He expressed himself and it's beautiful.
He didn't even spell equality correctly.
We don't discriminate.
This has nothing to do with mathematics.
You think you're so great with your maths and your science and your facts. What about feelings, huh?
Yeah. Feelings are more important than facts.
This is wrong. You're all crazy.
Stop violating me with your different opinions.
I have the right to speak my mind.
No, we have the right not to be offended.
And that's more important.
Ha! No wonder the kids are all dumbasses now. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of We Are Change.org, and there's a lot of absolutely disturbing, crazy news out there as we have now a Havana syndrome. How are people being affected by this as there's a bigger push for more money for Ukraine, which they might actually get, as, of course, a lot of things are unraveling in our society, including, of course, the very big, important story surrounding Sean P. Diddy Combs and a lot of his associates that are tied to some really absolutely awful behavior that we are going to be breaking down in this video that is connected to the story of the decade that many powerful people want to go away. We're going to be talking about that plus a lot more all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is actually a short film from a neo-Kolhatkar. We're going to be linking this video. It was actually released 8 years ago, and it's becoming more and more of a documentary highlighting our, quote, modern education system, which is directly under attack by a bunch of mind-control, sociopathic, central-controlling, bureaucratic Beckys that want you prioritizing feelings over, the actual truth of things in this world. And when you look at just how dystopian our modern day society, just how almost everything the fake corporate news tries to shove down your throat, it's becoming more and more evident that this is the society that they are going after, especially with leadership like this at the White House under the Biden administration that is becoming more and more unhinged, more senile, and has declared Easter to now be Trans Visibility Day, still celebrating the Christian holiday, but making sure that there's not a lot of religious signs around him. As the President of the United States was caught again sniffing a baby and openly told everyone to say hi to the oyster bunnies.
And I'm coming down to do that Easter egg roll in just a minute. Thank you all so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you. Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh? All right. Thank you all so very, very much. It's all yours. President's own.
Now, you might be confused by the terminology oyster bunnies here, but don't be. They are a new hybrid kind of animal that will be used for military purposes during World War III, when, of course, we most likely will be facing off against Russia, as there's a lot of very interesting articles now about the Havana syndrome, which some people think is totally made up. Some people think it's absolutely real, as there have been a slew of new corporate media articles talking about foreign adversaries that could be involved in the, quote, Havana syndrome, as lead military investigators are literally coming out and saying that the bar of proof to proving that this is an actual real thing is, quote, impossibly high. As some people in the military say that Americans are being targeted and have been targeted for many years now, specifically at the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba. Other people are saying it's a psyop within a psyop, but this information also is conveniently coming out during major debates about whether or not we should be bankrolling and financing the future conflict between Ukraine and Russia. This, as the Speaker of the House in the United States will now be moving on the Ukraine aid bill package when Congress comes back to Washington, D.C. in just a few days from now, as MSNBC announced that, quote, Mike Pence is edging closer to, quote, doing the right thing. Now, what is the right thing here, according to MSNBC? Is it, of course, giving a blank check with no accountability, no transparency, no oversight to a country that is known for corrupted leadership, where weapons have gone missing, as they are now enlisting more and more of their citizenry to go to the front lines and lose their lives, as almost an entire generation of Ukrainian men will never be brought back to civilization? Is that the right thing to do here, MSNBC? Well, according to them, yes, you forking over more of your money, you allowing the US dollar to be inflated, overprinted, giving the money to the ever so money-hungry military-industrial complex is the, quote, right thing to do here. As, of course, it's only the money that keeps flowing into that region that prolongs this war. This, as some House Republicans are saying that they are ready to oust Mike Johnson and kick him out as Speaker of the House if he allows this to happen. As, of course, other Congress members like Marjorie Taylor Greene are saying that, quote, we're going to talk, specifically texting Mike Johnson here, who looks like he is positioning himself in order to give Ukraine more military aid. All of this is happening as the situation in the Middle East also becomes a lot more tumultuous, as Israel now is suspected of striking many Iranian military targets throughout Syria, and also its consulate that took a life of a high command military personnel member of the Iranians, which the Iranians are promising retribution for. And now with that conflict potentially expanding from here, it highlights more important needs and conversations, especially with where America spends their money, which of course it loves to do internationally, but domestically when it comes to, of course, taking care of its people, they fail. And that's one reason out of many reasons why I created LukeUnfiltered.com, our own quasi-secret, not-so-secret society where, of course, your memberships help build communities. In about 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing an in-real-life nature hike with you guys in real life here in Southern Florida, an activity that's going to be awesome. It's going to be really fun. Your memberships pay for that, as I'm going to be organizing nature hikes all throughout the United States, as it's important to touch grass. It's important to walk around. It's important to be in nature. We could do all of that, plus a lot more, all just by simply signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com, as we are going to have a special members-only video available for people right after this video, getting into a lot of hot-button issues that we cannot get into specifically on this platform. We are also going to be hosting a very special conversation with Troy Casey, the health nut, and Ivory Heckler, an incredible investigative journalist, later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, here on this channel. And you guys, as members of LukeUnfiltered.com, get the ability to call in. If you've been thinking about signing up, now's the time to do it. And we can't thank you guys enough for doing so, as your support and participation is more needed than ever during these very key, difficult times. As we have a lot of bills to pay, we have a lot of work to do, and the more you support us, the more we will do for you. We can't thank you enough for your direct support and contribution, which means the world to us. All of this as there's a major story unraveling right now surrounding Sean P. Diddy Combs that is now seen walking around his house smoking after Homeland Security just raided his home here in Miami, Florida. All of this as a lot of internet sleuths keep sharing very interesting videos of Sean P. Diddy Combs, as of course they highlight a lot of very weird behavior that has been done by him throughout the years of his very prominent career that has allowed him to become a billionaire. And when you become a billionaire, when you have so much power, when you have so much influence, you of course have a lot of people, especially governments, flocking to you in order to take advantage of that. As of course the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency has a long history of working with a lot of musicians, musicians, a lot of actors, a lot of celebrities, and doing a lot of really awful stuff with them, not just when it comes to, of course, spying and espionage, but of course when it comes to running some very serious operations throughout its entire history. And the more we learn about Sean P. Diddy Combs, the more we are finding out about some of his weird connections to weird events, as now investigators are looking into a 1999 shooting incident that might potentially involve him. As a lot of people are speaking in very coded ways about the larger picture here that definitely portrays some kind of larger project and organization that has been going on here. Today, we're also finding out about P. Diddy's disastrous charter school that dealt with frequent violence and, quote, unstable leadership. This, as a lot of private school and charter schools, especially ones by individuals like LeBron James, have absolutely failed on their promises and, in some instances, created a worse-off situation for the kids there than they would have had in actual public schools. This, as Sean P. Diddy Combs also had a Billionaire Boys Club, which allegedly wooed Wall Street elites who, quote, praised him as a genius. Very similarly to a Mr. Epstein, an individual that, of course, a lot of people in the establishment want you to forget about, but also was able to woo a lot of people in Wall Street that never were able to find out where he was able to get hundreds of millions of dollars mysteriously out of thin air. As, of course, federal investigators, big banks, the IRS all looked the other way, as, of course, they were able to move huge sums of money without following basic rules and regulations. This, as the New York Post has a very interesting article titled Sean Diddy Combs Draws Jeffrey Epstein Comparison in Wake of Trafficking Investigation. As, of course, Mr. Epstein was a larger financier and somewhat of a media mogul himself, connected to a lot of many high-profile celebrities, lots of individuals, lots of parties that also included, allegedly, according to the lawsuits here, underage children, illegal substances, and, of course, hidden cameras that filmed the deprived behavior of very powerful individuals doing some really absolutely awful, horrible stuff, which later, of course, was probably used for extortion. Now, we know that that was the exact case of what was happening under Epstein, and that is the exact case that Mr. P. Diddy is being accused of himself right now, as the federal government is investigating all of this. And as it's important to note here, the federal government's investigation of Mr. Epstein was absolutely a total failure and provided the general public with very little adequate, important information about the huge scope of exactly what was going on here. Now, will the federal government do a good job here surrounding the Sean P. Diddy Combs case? Well, nope, probably not. As, of course, it's literally taking private investigators, as Wired magazine now just released a larger expose using data science tracking nearly 200 people that visited Jeffrey Epstein's island after he was convicted of hurting small children through mobile phone data linking them to their homes and offices all throughout the United States. One of them, including a ping on the street opposite of Trump Tower. Now, why does it take private investigators and media organizations to actually investigate who is there? As, of course, individuals like Ghislaine Maxwell literally was sentenced for providing an illegal service to an unknown amount of clients. The clients here were never included in the larger kind of prosecution of the crimes here. A lot of this just doesn't make sense, as the federal government covered a lot of important information about this entire scenario. And shouts out to Wired magazine for actually doing investigative journalism, for actually looking into this matter, looking into the data, and highlighting how there are many Americans still walking around that were involved in the larger relationship with Epstein, who routinely provided small children to individuals on that private island that they were at, that they were able to do whatever they wanted to with outside of the scope or investigation of the federal government that clearly here has run a larger cover-up operation of exactly what happened with the thousands of children that were hurt here in unspeakable ways. Now, this story absolutely is a major development and should be shared around by a lot of people, as, of course, private investigators and journalistic institutions are doing a way better job than the federal government here when it comes to actually linking individuals that did horrible things that are still walking the streets free today Are you kidding me? This should be a major story that should spark a lot of anger, a lot of outrage against the federal government here that clearly helped facilitate the larger trafficking of children for extortion efforts that they probably used for their own personal benefit. Extortion efforts that are probably still going on and might potentially even involve Sean P. Diddy Combs. Now, what do you think P. Diddy's involvement is here? Do you think that there was a lot of tapes? Do you think there was a lot of extortion regarding his case? Well, in my opinion, probably. Do we have hard evidence and proof of that as of right now? No. But when it comes to a lot of billionaires, when it comes to a lot of celebrities, when it comes to a lot of powerful individuals in this world, they definitely live in a different kind of existence than the rest of the general public. What are we going to be finding out here? Well, with the federal government investigating all of this, probably very little, as they probably will be using a lot of the information that they get, a lot of the videos, a lot of the photos, a lot of the tapes, a lot of the extortion for their own personal benefit, since, of course, they did it before. That's my 2 cents. That's my understanding of it. Do you think I'm wrong on my opinions and perspectives here? Well, let me know why down in the comment section below. If you're outraged just as much as I am, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more important than ever. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. One more video coming your way right now on lukeunfiltered.com and for members of my Twitter. And that's why, if it wasn't for you guys signing up, I wouldn't be here. And that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.